Let us draw the box and whisker plot for these data. In this case, the data will have an outlier, which is 50. So the steps again that you have to follow will be, number one is to find the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum here is 5 and the maximum is 50, and that's important because you need that for the preparation of the scale. And step number 2 is to find quartiles, and if you do that, you will find that Q1 is equal to 9 and Q2 is equal 14 and Q3 is equal to 20. So the third step, in fact, remember, is to find outliers. And if you found outliers, you will discover that 50 is an outlier. So in this example, 50 will be an outlier, and I believe you know the steps to find the quartiles and outliers by now. So in this case, the box and whisker plot would look slightly different because we need to show on the graph that there is an outlier. And then the whiskers will not reach all the way to the outlier. It will reach to the value just before the outlier, which is 22 in this case. So let's prepare the scale for the box and whisker plot. I have here almost from 0 to 50, or from 1 to 50, 5 to 50. So maybe I keep adding 5. Maybe if this is your 0, this will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Okay, so the minimum in this case will be here 5. The maximum is 50, but it's outlier, so we show it as a star because this is an outlier. That means I have the outlier here, and this outlier is actually this star here. And in this case, I need to show also the quartiles as a box. So Q1 is 9, which is just before the 10, almost here. And then Q2 is 14, which is just before 15. And then Q3 is 20, which is here. Okay, so now I have the box formed from the quartiles. I know my handwriting is not great, but anyway, that's Q1, Q2, and Q3. Now, the whisker will go from the minimum to Q1 as usual because there is no outlier in this side. But on the other side, there is an outlier, and the whisker cannot go all the way to the outlier. It will go to the value just before the outlier, which is 22 in this case. 22 is almost here. So that means it will just come here, and that's it. Stop at 22 because the other value is considered outlier. So this is the main difference between the case when there is outlier and there is no outlier. If this is not an outlier, we connect it all the way to the maximum. But if there is an outlier, then we don't reach, the whisker doesn't reach to the outlier. It goes to the value next to the outlier. And the one next to the outlier here is 22, which is here, and that's how the whisker will look like in this case. If we have an outlier on the other side, on the minimum side, suppose 5 is an outlier and 6 is not. So this way we will have a star on the 5, and in the 6, which is almost here, this will be the end of the whisker. If 5 was an outlier, then the star will be on the 5 and the whisker will reach only to 6 right here, and this part will not be there. Okay, I hope you understand how to do the box and plot, or the box and whisker plot in the case of outlier now.